Hello there, my lovelies. Welcome back to my channel, Boomy Reactions. My name is Boomy and thank you for watching. Now, today, guys, we're going to be watching a history-related, I'd say it's history-related video. So this one has been requested from Silverwolf. Thank you very much for your support, my lovely. And Silverwolf says, hi, Boomy, me here again. Hello again. I cried at the 666 and Eager Beavers. I'm a crier like you, so you're not alone. As in, cry at some things that some people would consider the smallest of things. Well, Silverwolf, I'm glad that you said that because, no, we're not alone. I think more people cry than they're prepared to admit to. I think a lot of us, especially with those stories by Nick the Fat Electrician, I think they're so moving. I refuse to believe that most people, if not all, I'll say most, aren't moved to tears by these sometimes very, very tragic, sad stories, but just, I don't know, the stories of like overwhelming valor and bravery and courage, and they're just so moving. I just refuse to believe that more people don't, they don't cry. I think more people do than they're prepared to admit. So yes. Okay, you're like me. Good. Well, it's just because we admit to it, Silverwolf. And you say, I looked for a reaction to the boat lift of 9/11, and I don't think you've reacted to it. No, I have not. I do not believe. It showed the true American spirit during the 9/11 attacks. So that is the video that we're going to be watching today, guys. Now, through the awful event of 9/11, the absolute just tragedy, the one thing that sticks out for me is there are many stories of very heroic deeds, you know, the courage of an awful lot of people at this horrible, horrible, dark time. And I find those stories very, very moving. And I've heard a few over the years, obviously, but I don't think that I've actually heard of this story in particular. So let's watch it together, guys. And if you're enjoying these reactions, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much, my lovelies. If you're interested, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account. That link is over here. And if you would like to help support my channel any further, I have a Patreon account. And if you want to check that out at all, that link is in the description below. Right, okie doke. A hero is a man who does what he can. Oh. I think a hero is someone who risks things for other people despite, it's like they're saying it's courage isn't being brave unnecessarily. Courage is being brave when you are frightened, but you do it anyway. And I think that ties into what a hero is. I think a hero does the right thing, sacrifices for people, takes risks for the safety of other people.
I thought I was watching a movie, Towering Inferno at first.
Oh.
And then I looked real close and I noticed it was the World Trade Center.
Unbelievable.
I was compelled because I'm a type of person that can't stand by and watch other people suffer. And to me, they were suffering. They wanted to get off the island. And there was no way for them to get off the island other than the water. And I had noticed when I was watching the television, I saw a lot of, you know, the ferries going up into the slips and taking people off. I said, fine, we could do the same thing. I could take people on my boat, get in there, take them where they have to go. And that's what we did.
Aww. It's hard. It's hard watching this back, isn't it?
On the morning of September 11th, when the towers came down.
Is that Tom Hanks's voice? Is this narrated by Tom Hanks? Oh, I love Tom Hanks.
Millions of people ran for safety. Hundreds of thousands of them ran south to the water's edge. That's when they realized that Manhattan is indeed an island and that they were trapped.
just like that. And she looked at me. She says, "What are you going to do, you maniac?" I says, "I'm going to take the amberjack up into the city and help." She says, "But what if they're attacked again?" I says, "Well, then that's something I have to live with." I says, "I have to do what I have to do." I says, "And nobody can stop me right now. Even if I save one person or I rescue one person, that's one person less that will suffer and die."
What a lovely man. I remember coming home from school. I'm watching what I came back to my mum watching these events unfolding as they happened. I'm sure they were as they were happening as well, and I think our reaction was probably echoed across the globe, and it was just horror. It was even as a young child watching that without even knowing really what it meant. There was this awful feeling of just shock, horror, dread, which I know, I believe was just felt across the globe by an awful lot of people. And it was sheer disbelief. I don't think a lot of people really believed that it was actually happening. And it was just overwhelming sadness. Helplessness at the same time for the victims here. The world just looked on in absolute horror. It just even watching things played back, news reports. It's that you get the same feel. It's a bizarre kind of feeling, but you kind of relive it. And this is just as a bystander, just as watching the news reports, obviously, and it was chilling. It was just, I don't know. It was like there was a sense that this dread of watching this absolute disaster, awful disaster happen.
They were trying to evacuate Manhattan because nobody knew what was going on. You know, you didn't know if something else was going to happen. It was just, a madness on one side and wanting to help people on the other side.
They were just streaming out of the buildings. And the first mode of transportation they saw was a ferry boat. And that's when they knew, this is how I'm getting out of here. So they didn't even care where the boat was going.
There wasn't panic in New York in the beginning. Just volume. It wasn't until the first building fell that there was panic.
You heard the building go down, but we're in the slip, so we can't see it. That's when we started letting go, and then all of a sudden, engulfed. You couldn't see anything.
People were actually jumping into the river and swimming out of Manhattan. Boats were very nearly running them over.
Wait. These people wanted out of Manhattan no matter any way they could.
Somebody wants you to go over there.
Every mode of transportation out of Manhattan was shut down. All the subways were shut. The tunnels were all closed. They closed the bridges. They closed everything immediately.
Boats, usually an afterthought in most New Yorkers' minds, were for the first time in over a century the only way in or out of Lower Manhattan.
We're gonna start evacuating people. Anybody can get over here, we're gonna evacuate them.
The process that actually had already started. There were some boats that were grabbing people, that people were lined up at the walls.
On the left.
It's just human nature. You see people in distress on the seawall in Manhattan begging you to pick them up. You have to pick them up.
They didn't know what was going on. They seen the building getting hit with these two planes. As far as they was concerned, we were being bombed. I was wondering if they were going to come on the boat, if they had people with bombs, or if they were going to come on. We're a big orange target in the middle of that harbor. My job is to keep the boat safe, my passengers safe, my crew safe.
Everybody was in shock, running around. They didn't want to leave their families. They had loved ones running around the city.
Nobody has it.
There was one guy ran from the apron and jumped onto the boat. He grabbed onto the metal, climbed up right next to the pilot. So I'm going out there to say something. He slides down to the next deck. So the deckhands get him and go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm jumping for my life. So, you couldn't argue with him there.
I think that was for a lot of people, there was so much confusion. Obviously, this is only a fraction of what was felt, actually in New York here. But no one knew what was happening. And it made it so much more terrifying because, it wasn't just one plane, it was two here anyway. And I imagine everybody must have just been so panicked because you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know. This is obviously not the first terrorist attack, but I'd say maybe the first really the world has seen on this kind of scale.
There was a small boat that was at the lower tip of Manhattan. I thought the boat was going to flip over because so many people were trying to get on. And as I looked behind, they were just 10 deep. And that's kind of what gave us the idea.
We decided that this has to get better organized and we better do it, and that's what we did.
So we decided to make the call on the radio. All available boats. This is the United States Coast Guard aboard the pilot boat in New York. Anyone want to help with the evacuation of Lower Manhattan? Report to Governor's Island.
When that call came on the radio, they were coming.
I was uncertain of who was going to respond. About 15, 20 minutes later, there are just boats all across the horizon.
Literally 100 targets converging on the lower part of Manhattan.
When we came out of that dust cloud, tugboats, I'd never seen so many tugboats all at once.
There was just like a fleet of tugboats headed to Manhattan.
If it floated and it could get there, it got there.
All different size, shapes, and form. And they were zooming across this water.
Ferries, private boats, party boats.
I worked on the water for 28 years. I've never seen that many boats come together at one time that fast. One radio call and it just came together just that fast.
That must have been
Hundreds of
quite the
boats
sight.
converged on the city, leaving the sun-bathed harbor behind them. Dead ahead, the unknown.
That was something I won't forget. It was just low, dark, acrid, black smoke. It's like there was a big chimney in Manhattan. When we pulled into Pier 11, the dust was unbelievable.
And then out of nowhere, you just kept on seeing people coming.
They looked like zombies coming through the fog, and you knew that those were human beings.
Don't leave us. Please don't leave us here. Take us. At that point, the Coast Guard said, not how many people are you allowed, how many people can you fit?
Come on, guys. Anybody coming? Get your ass over here now. Now. Come on.
Boats started hanging, literally would take a bedsheet off a bunk and a can of spray paint and paint their destination on.
Some of these people never been in the water, never been on a boat before.
Housewives, workers that do windows. We had executives. And the thing that was the best, everyone helped everyone.
I want you to hold my hand. Come on board. Get inside. One at a time. Get in inside.
I saw 4 businessmen lifting up an old woman with a seeing eye dog, a German Shepherd, and they lifted her up like a surfboard and passed her over the handrails.
When we would carry a load of people over, and there was somebody standing there that seen their husband or wife, you know, that made us feel even better, you know. Well, at least we got 2 back together, you know. Keep on going, you know.
The guy that works at the ferry, he's a welder. His son was on my boat. He actually came up. He thanked me.
We went back and forth all day long, carrying boatloads, as many as our boat would hold. And it was a lot of people. A lot of people.
You couldn't have planned nothing to happen that fast, that quick.
No training. This was just people doing what they had to do that day.
You forget all about what you're supposed to do, what they teach you in school, and you say, you know what? Morally, this is the right way to go, and deep down, this is what I'm gonna do.
Average people, they stepped up, and when they needed to, they showed me, you know, when the American people need to come together and pull together, they will do it.
I do feel a way honored that I was a part of it.
It was the greatest thing I ever did with my life.
The greatest day that I've ever seen in all my boating. I mean, my life on the water.
The Great Boat Lift of 9/11 became the largest sea evacuation in history.
Oh my gosh.
Larger than the evacuation of Dunkirk in World War II, where 339,000 British and French soldiers were rescued over the course of 9 days. On 9/11,
This was over
nearly
hours.
500,000 civilians were rescued from Manhattan by boat. It took less than 9 hours.
I believe somebody has a little hero in them.
I'll let the credits roll there. Oh my gosh, that is very heartwarming story. That's absolutely amazing. In less than 9 hours. Oh my gosh. Oh, when they said about the amount of boats that they'd seen. Oh. It's lovely to hear of these stories of the bravery of people, because they didn't know. Everyone that went out on a boat to rescue and ferry people backwards and forwards, they didn't know that they wouldn't have been under attack. It was a dangerous thing to do, and they did it anyway. And it wasn't just a handful of people, it was so many people, and it's a lovely, lovely story. It's not just one story, it's a story of an awful lot of people that joined in to help. And those stories are a bit of a silver lining, aren't they? You know, such an awful, horrible act of just absolute hatred and violence. And it's hard to watch. Oh gosh, I imagine it's so much more harder for people that were there in person or had family or friends that was involved in 9/11 here. But even as an a foreigner, a bystander watching this through a screen. It's hard to watch. It still gives you chills, and that awful, doomed, horrible feeling watching it. And it's lovely to see the stories of people who band together in these times and help. So thank you, Silverwolf. Thank you so much for requesting this video. It's a very much a heartwarming story here. Again, through the most darkest times, you know, we still have hope, and people still do the right thing, and people still help one another. And I think that's the best way to show that, you know, the perpetrators, the terrorists, to show that, you know, okay, that's happened, you've managed to succeed in doing this, but you don't win. You don't break the spirits of people. You don't break the humanity. You know, Americans are resilient people. And it's a lovely, lovely story. So yes, thank you very much for requesting that, Silverwolf. Oh, that's made my day. Guys, I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.